Hello and welcome to the third lesson. What I've done for the third lesson is we are looking at integers, so positive and negative numbers. The lesson that I've created for my students is one that is just right off the bat adding positive and negative numbers. So for that, as you can see, I have a screen here. I've used two different types of technology for this. First, I'm going to show you what I'm quite comfortable with, and believe it or not, it's paint. So with paint, if you're able to control or have control of all your shortcut keys, it becomes pretty simple. So let's go into this. The first thing I like to do is I like to create a little bank. So my students will see positive numbers, look like these, negative, and so on. So this is more or less for subtraction, so we're not going to worry about that, but I'm going to show them the zero pairs here. And what I like to do for my example is we're going to start off by looking at all the four scenarios. So positive plus a positive, positive plus negative, negative plus a positive, and finally negative plus a negative. So here I have an example. So if I were to illustrate this example here, what I can do is I usually like to just take from my bank. So I'll do Control C and then Control V, and let's just put that transparency on. And once I have these chips here, my students are able to work alongside. So they'll have chips in front of them as well, and we would replicate this question here. So I have positive 9, so I have 6 here. Let's add another, another row here. Move those over, and very simple. I'm going to add, so I'll copy and paste that. Let's move in a bit. We will paste that, bring it over here, and finally we're going to add our remaining 5. So it's very simple with the technology. I could just grab these 5, copy them, and paste them right below. So there we go. We have we have positive 9, we add 5, and this is our final solution. So I like to tell the students for our final solution, we'll put a little orange box around it. Okay, voila. Now let's look at the next question here, because it's quite simple to add 6 plus 5. Let's look at the next one here. We have 4 plus negative 2. So as I zoom in, I hold down Control and zoom up. 4 plus negative 2. Now sometimes the students will see these in brackets, sometimes they won't. That's some lessons that I tell them prior to getting started with this lesson here. So I'm going to copy, paste. I have 2 here, so you know what? This is a good chance for me to talk about multiplying. There is my 4. Now, I have 4. I need to add 2 negatives. So right here, what I get them to do is I'll copy my negative, and to this section here, I'm going to include 2 negatives. Prior to this lesson, I'm also going to talk about the zero pairs. A zero pair is when you have a positive and a negative, they cancel out. So here we have 2 zero pairs. So I get my students to show me zero pairs just by highlighting them and filling it with gray. So here we are, get our fill bucket, gray, that's that. And then we just circle our final answer. So pretty simple. So when I'm looking at the solution key here, I just look for the orange square, I see how many are in there, and so on. Okay. One of the exercises I've done with my students is I have them first off read the problem, I have them write it out, I have them show it with their algebra tiles, and then I finally get them to do it with the number line. If we had to do these questions here with the number line, watch this. Let's do this one here. So I have positive 4, I include negative 2, and I like to change the wording around here. Include, add, I put more of, and so on. So here I know that my answer is going to be roughly within here. So here I'm going to just do my selection tool. I can copy this area here, Control C, Control V, and I tell my students always, we always start at 0. In life we start with nothing, and then it's up to us what we create from there. And we always move from 0 to the direction of our first number. So here it's positive 4. So from my 0 all the way to positive 4, I drag this line, and this is this fancy tool up here, which is called the curve. And then I just kind of pull it up, and there we go. I've jumped from 0 all the way to 4. My second number, I'm going to place it as green. So green, I go back to. So in my instruction, I tell them about the direction you need to go in based upon whether it's positive or negative. And then I finally get them to put a little square around their answer, and I keep it similar. So it's orange final answer. I have orange final answer here. Okay, so let's do one more quick example here. Let's do this one here. So I have -6. So I'm going to take my selection tool. I have -6. And the benefit of this is the students really, I don't know what it is, they really like to follow along and see how we create these questions. So I have -6. So I'm going to double my 3. And then I'm going to include 7 positives. So here are my positives. I'll paste one, paste another, paste another. Okay, I'm going to actually double these ones. And we need one more positive, so I'll just copy this one. There we go. This question here, -6 add +7. Here's -6, add my +7. I tell the students we have to look at those 0 pairs. So let's get rid of the 0 pairs by circling them, putting a little box around them, and then we'll gray them out. They're worth nothing. Okay, finally what I'm left with is my answer. In this case, the only thing that remains is a +1. That is my answer. Now, let's take a look at the number line. I'll use this number line here. We'll just drag it down. And we start off, I'm just going to actually put a little box around this question here to know that we're dealing with the negative and we're adding a positive. Alright, so here we are. We start at 0. I'm going to use my curve, and I start with blue. I start at 0. So I'm going to click, and I'm going to go backwards, -6. So right to there, I pull up my curve. There we go. Next, I have to do the second number, which is I add 7. When I add something, I go to the right. If I add a positive, I go to the right. Okay, there we are. I jump over by 7. And you know what? I also don't mind having the students show the work right here. So right off the bat here, I started off at 0 and I went back -6. -6. So let's just drag this over and we'll get rid of that underline, Control U, and then I added 7. Okay, that's something you can include. You also may want to use your pencil here to show that this is the direction you went. And your final answer is going to be boxed. So we are going to put a little orange box around our final answer. There we go. We know that -6 plus 7 gives us +1. We have this example shown in both of our integer tiles as well as our number line. Now, we don't stop there. This is just to get the students familiar with the basic concepts. But I really want them to understand how it works if we just move it slightly. And that's where our Web 2.0 system comes into play. So let's take a look. We're going to look at this one here. We have a positive. We're going to add a negative. Alright, so we've already determined that this answer is positive 2 with our integer tiles as well as our number line. We have positive 2. So I'm going to take this question here and we're going to implement it into GeoGebra. So here's GeoGebra, discovering rules in adding integers. I love this site. This is completely new to me, this GeoGebra, and it is amazing. I'm kind of a little frustrated I haven't seen it until now. So what we have is, just like my questions here, I started with the blue, which is the first number, and then the green is the second number. Here we have red is our first, green is our second. So for this question we have a positive 4 adding a negative 2. Watch this. We change this right to a positive 4. So now this is a positive 4. And then we're going to change this, and it's already at the negative 2. And look at that, we have our answer. We have our answer of plus 2, as well as plus 2. So this number line here shows us exactly what we've done before. Started at 0, moved back, there we are. Now, like I said, the benefit of using this applet is that now we get to see what happens if we start off with a negative number. Alright, if we start off with negative, what if we change this around so that our numbers are equal? Well, there we go. I can show the students here that this is a 0 pair. I can show the students that negative 3, and if I add 3, it's going to give me a 0 pair. Okay, I can show them that if I go positive and a really negative 1 here, it's going to be positive 4. So I love this site. Like I said, it's new to me. It's very interactive, and with this applet it goes up to 5 and negative 5 and 5, and we could tweak this in the future, but this is just a way to gain an understanding of what's really happening with our final number here when we have our integers. So great website, have a look at it. GeoGebra, here's the title, and have fun using that with your students. Alright, take care.